How y'all doing? It's Monday, May 5th. 8:15 or so, give or take, in the morning. I just got back from the bus stop. We had a special Monday morning rendezvous with the bus because my ex had to cover at a pharmacy about 40 minutes away. So she didn't have time to get him to school this morning. And of course, my typical run of luck. We come out here this morning, got in the truck. I did my process to start it where I gotta hit the carburetor with some gasoline or some starting fluid first. Put about a shot's worth of gasoline down the carb, buttoned it back up, and got in, went to crank it, and nothing. Absolutely dead. Come in here and got my jump box, put it on the jump box, just barely spun it over. That battery is completely and totally shot. Seems that little reconditioning process I did a few months back has run its course. And the battery's toast. I should have known something was up last week because I had to charge it last week overnight on the trickle charger, and if I had done that last night, it might have been alright to run this morning. But it's been, running fine for weeks at a time without a trickle charger. And I should have put it on the charger last night. I thought it'd be alright. So we had no truck this morning. Sometimes you got a strong enough jumper, it'll jump it off regardless of the battery, but mine is not that beefy. So we walked to the bus stop this morning. I was not sure that I would be able to do it, but did not have a choice. I gotta work on that knee scooter I got, and back when I was on my crutch, I actually went to the bus stop once and back on the knee scooter. So I thought about that briefly, but that thing has seen better days, and it's got this problem now where one of the front wheels wants to bind up. I think maybe the bearings are bad. Change them. Hadn't got around to it because I hadn't needed it. I wasn't going to try the wheelchair because it's early morning and occasionally people come racing up and down that road and might not see my ass in the wheelchair. And my wheelchair is not it's not an off-road vehicle. It's pavement only. I can't push it in the grass anyway, not for very far. And halfway to the bus stop, there's a little creek that runs across the road, and there's a pretty good dip in the road. Going down would be alright. Going back up would not work. And I'd have to get out and then walk the wheelchair up. And I just told Joey, grab your backpack, we're walking. As I was walking down the driveway with my cane, I briefly thought about my bicycle, but I have only ridden that thing once in a few circles around the yard, and I would have likewise had to walk it a lot. I just took the cane and crossed my fingers. I did make it. Obviously, I'm sitting here on my porch. We got down there. We beat the bus by about 4 minutes, which I'm quite glad of, actually, because I was worried that this was going to be one of those late mornings, and I would have to stand down there leaning up against the wall. And not be able to actually sit down. We got there, and I leaned up against the power pole and was evaluating my next move. My whole right leg, my left hip are on fire. My heart's pounding. Couldn't breathe. But the bus got there very soon after we did, and I was able to start my journey back. Joey actually quite enjoyed walking down there for a change. It's something that we might actually try to do more of. I'm going to keep trying to push myself, because that was a lot farther than I've walked since this has happened. I did almost fall down a couple of times coming back. I had to stop periodically and just lean over and breathe. And I'm probably going to be feeling that for a couple of days. But I did do it. So now I've got to address this truck battery and get another one in there. I hate to go get another Walmart battery. I've had so damn much trouble with them over the past 4 or 5 years. They used to be good batteries. Everstart used to be good batteries. I always used to buy Walmart batteries. 15, 20 years ago, they were damn good batteries. Last for a long time. But now, they only seem to last a couple of years. And that battery I got in my truck, I bought last year for my 87 Cherokee. Bought it brand new last year, a couple months before I went into the hospital at Walmart. And I had a Napa battery in my truck that was at least, 10, 12 years old. And it was fine. But then I I went into the hospital and my vehicle sat for months without running. I had two trucks with good batteries that would crank and run. This one and the other 81 that I'm probably going to be putting that camper shell on to live in if I lose the house. Couldn't start the Jeep because right before I went into the hospital, I took the power steering pump out, so there was no routing for the belts. It wouldn't have, the alternator wouldn't have charged the battery because that is a serpentine belt and not V belts like my old truck. So whereas you could disconnect the power steering pump on my truck, and there's a separate belt for the alternator, water pump. They serpentine belt on that Jeep, so you take the belt off one, nothing works. So it wouldn't have charged the battery anyway. Could have started, but wouldn't have charged the battery. So my batteries just sat for months doing nothing, and that's why they all ended up toast when I got back. I was able to recondition that one new Walmart battery, and that's what I put in my truck, but it now seems to have completely given up the ghost. So that's that. I wanted to briefly touch on that video that I did yesterday. It came to my attention pretty quick yesterday that I probably shouldn't have posted that video, and that it does me no good to talk about those specific topics on here. I had an awful lot of y'all, and I very much appreciate it, but an awful lot of y'all encouraging me to not let the ex beat me down, to not let what she did or the way she continues to do things get me down. And sympathizing with divorce, but it happens and whatnot. Had some that were a little bit standoffish and almost sounding like I was wrong for feeling the way I did. If that's your opinion, that's fine. I heavily disagree. But first, don't let her beat me down. But y'all got to understand something. I'm not one of these people that marriage is just a thing. I'm one of these people that marriage is everything. It was something that in my younger years I never wanted to do because I didn't want to be bound. And even in my younger years, I believed in the binding of a marriage. And I didn't want to be bound to someone that maybe didn't want to live their lives the way I did. Now, I ended up not being able to live my life the way I wanted to in my youth, regardless. And when I decided that I did want to get married and I did want to have a family, that was it. And something else that y'all have got to understand is that she and I were having problems, but we were not having divorce level problems, not to me. I knew that she had her mother in her ear, co-workers in her ear. You know, she had another pharmacist in the pharmacy where she used to work. That's actually the one she's subbing at today. That for the last couple of years we were together, was talking about leaving her man. She left her man, and you know, constantly talking about how much better things were without him around. I was blind by the love I had for this woman and the love I had for my family. I thought if I was strong enough to fight through my cancer and my depression and still be here every day, that she would be strong enough to, even if she wasn't standing by me like I needed her to be there when I was strong again. I was wrong, and that's on me. But nevertheless, this divorce was harder on me than I see what it is on most people. Most people, you know, it seems like they get divorced. The one that didn't want to get divorced cries about it for a couple of months, and then boom, they're back out, you know, dating again. They're focusing on themselves. They're, you know, whatever, it happened. No. 10 fucking years of my life, the last best years of my life, went to that marriage. 10 fucking years. And for her to end it the way she did, for her to do the way she did, was wrong. And I don't know how to make y'all realize how catastrophic it was for me. And I'm past it. You don't get it. I'm past it. I don't let her beat me down. But interacting with her, and especially interacting with her where she's got her new man involved, that causes pain that can't be undone. That causes pain that can't be prevented. I don't believe in the heavy introduction of a step-parent when both parents are still active in the divorce. We got divorced, yes, but I am still his full-time father, just like she is still his full-time mother. I do not believe in going out and getting somebody else and putting that other person in a parental role when your child already has that. I'm sorry, I don't believe in it. I don't agree with it. I haven't done it. I mean, I can't do it. I'm not physically able to have somebody else. But even if I was, I wouldn't have done that. Not in this capacity. I might have a girlfriend, but I would not have somebody else playing stepmama to Joey when Melissa's not around. I would not be doing that. And, you know, I don't care what she thinks. I don't particularly care what any of you think or anybody else. I don't believe in it. I don't agree with it. I feel, and Joey bears this out, that it creates more confusion and more stress in the child's life. Because this is not just one of Mama's friends. This is not even just Mama's boyfriend. This is somebody that Mama is purposely putting in a position to act like another dad. And I don't agree with it. I don't think it's good for the child. It's certainly not good for the opposite parent. You know, there's only one person that it's good for, and that's her ass. Because she's lazy and she can't do nothing by herself. You know, some of y'all mentioned something about how you're sure that she doesn't do these things to get at me. And I really have to draw upon my patience, because those of you that said those things, you don't know her. And as I said to you that said those things, there's so much going on. There's so much that has taken place that y'all don't know about. I could make a 25-minute video every day for the next 10 years and not give every little tidbit, every little thing that goes on, that has gone on. And some of y'all got kind of defensive. Well, we didn't know that there's stuff that, you haven't talked about. Yes, you did. I have mentioned that. I've said that many times in my videos. There's so much else that takes place that y'all don't know about, that y'all don't hear about. And that's why ultimately I realized that I shouldn't be talking about those things with y'all, because there's so much that you don't know. There's so much that you're not privy to. You don't know this woman that I was married to, my ex-wife. You don't. There's two reasons why she's got this guy doing the things that he's doing. One, because she's lazy, and she's not a very good parent. She can't do this shit by herself all the time. And that's not me jumping on her. That's just me talking the way it is. That's the way it is. That's how she is. And two, because she knows how much it hurts and angers me. Now, yes, it hurts and angers me deeply. And that's something that's never going to change. If she's got a boyfriend 10 years from now, I know it's not going to be this guy, because she's never going to find somebody that's going to put up with her shit for the long term. But if she's got a boyfriend at Joey's high school graduation in 10 years, it's going to piss me off. And it's going to aggravate me, because that doesn't belong to another man. It would be one thing if I wasn't in the picture, if I was a deadbeat asshole, or if I was dead. Completely different story. I'm not a deadbeat asshole. And I'm damn sure not dead. Not yet. In my opinion, and that's not going to change, she's got no business introducing another man as a parental figure to my son. Them hanging out at the house, being around each other every now and then, that's fine. But not going out and doing all this shit together as a family. I'm sorry. That's not a family. That's not her family. That's not Joey's family, the three of them together. She didn't create Joey with that dude. She did that with me. And even though we're separated, we're not together, we're divorced, I don't think it's right to bring somebody else in and play house with somebody else's son, somebody else's kid. I think that it's, like I said, injurious to the child, which Joey bears that out. And it's also massively disrespectful to the other parent, that even though you fucked their life, they're still present and trying to do everything they're supposed to do for the child. And nothing will ever change my mind on that. Nothing or nobody. I don't care. It's not that, she takes him on trips and does things with him without me. That is not so much the issue as it is the time that I've lost that she has taken from me. You understand that? I'm going to die, probably sooner rather than later. And half of that time has been taken from me with my son because of her, how selfish she is. It's time that I've lost with my son. And I guarantee you that she would be massively up in arms if I had done those things and she had not been able to. So, I love y'all, but try to sit back and think before you start talking and defending people you don't know in situations you don't understand. I really do appreciate all y'all. I'm going to try not to talk about subjects like this before because it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Hope you all had a good weekend and are having a good week. And I will get back on here tomorrow or the next day. Bye-bye.